Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jamie the Crafty DIY Guy. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I've got nothing but Christmas for you, Christmas DIYs, and I'm so excited about this video. There's several projects in this video that I'm so happy with, and a couple of them were so basic and simple that anybody could do them, which I think is even better. Before we get into the projects though, of course, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much for being here. The OGs, the original gang that has been with me since the very beginning. And then recently somebody called themselves an NG because they were part of the new gang. So I welcome you guys as well. If you're brand new to the channel, maybe you've never stuck around before or visited, maybe you'll become a subscriber and hang out with me as well. All right, guys, so let's get into the video because I'm super excited about all of these projects. All right, everyone, and for project number one, we're going to be using this Home Sweet Home sign that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I've had this in my stash for probably, at least since the summertime. I'm going to go ahead and remove this twine. I'm going to remove this little bit of greenery, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the staples as well. The staple is pretty strong here, so I'm going to pull out the lineman pliers, and I'm going to pull it out that way. And then for the twine on the back and also the remaining burlap there, I'm going to go ahead and just remove all of those with that lineman pliers as well. The twine was very, very strong on here. So I took it outside and I spray painted it white. I used a white flat Rust-Oleum matte paint. It's one that I use all the time, and I had a vision for this when I first started it, and then it just kind of didn't really work out. So once I got it back inside, I thought maybe I would tape off the white home part of the sign, and then I would take that white kind of circular border that's around that sign and paint it red. So I have some red Waverly paint, and this is the crimson paint, and I just wasn't super happy with the color. It was kind of a pinkish color. I don't know if the spray paint was mixing with the chalk paint, but it just wasn't as vibrant and as bright as I wanted. And I knew that I had some bright apple red spray paint outside, and I went outside in the dark and spray painted it red, and just finished taping off all the white home sign letters, and brought it back in after it dried and started peeling away to reveal this. So I'm definitely liking this a little bit better now, and what I like about this space here is that you can really do all kinds of things with it. You could use ribbon, you could cover it up, you could use a Cricut and write, home for Christmas. You could do all kinds of things. You could even put floral picks or something on there. I thought that for the floral pick part of this, I would do this in the top corner, and I am just going to glue some pieces. Literally, I bought some Dollar Tree floral picks just to sacrifice for these types of little projects, and as you can see, I'm just going to glue these straight down on top of there. And then for the next part of this, after I've kind of have my design all set up, I did add a little bit of a bow and everything. You really have a lot of creative options. I am going to take a paint pen that I have from Arteza, and I am just going to use that to write my last name on here. Now, this is for the friends of mine that don't have a Cricut, or maybe you don't have some stickers on hand that you want to use. If you have decent handwriting, I think I have okay handwriting, and I just think this is super, super sweet home sign for your front door. I think you should put this somewhere near your doorbell. It could be super, super cute, and I love the way that this turned out. I think you could even put an established in, 2018 or whatever year you bought your home. A lot of really fun things you can do with that space to customize this and make it yours. All right, for our next project, we are going to use a Dollar Tree sign and an ornament that look very similar, and also some of this Dollar Tree vinyl. But don't worry, we're not cutting vinyl with one of those machines. Instead, we are using the vinyl as our kind of main part of our new ornaments that we are creating. So the first thing you're going to do is kind of take those two ornaments apart. For the smaller one, you're going to take that metal tag off, being careful not to bend that or break that. And then this other part will just kind of peel off, and it makes it actually really, really easy. This next one, you may need to get like a little credit card or a screwdriver or something to pry this one off. This one was glued on pretty good. I ended up actually grabbing a tool from my Cricut and just kind of prying it off with that. Again, you could use a gift card or a flathead screwdriver, anything like that would totally work for this. And then for this one, I'm actually just going to flip that one over. So first thing we're going to do is unroll our buffalo check vinyl that I picked up from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to lay my larger roll or my larger ornament on there and just trace around with one of my Sharpies. I love the fine print Sharpies that you can also get at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to trace that around, and then I'm going to cut it out. First thing I do is just always cut it out kind of a messy cut, kind of going with sort of the guidelines. And I do that just so I can get all of that excess paper away from me. And then it makes it a little bit easier to trim down. Now, for the signs themselves, for both of them, I'm going to paint the sides of them with some black chalk paint. This is Waverly's Ink chalk paint. And I am just going to go all the way around the circular part and the handle part, I guess, or the hanger part of the ornament, just to kind of disguise that. If your vinyl is a little bit too short, or maybe you've even made it a little bit too long, this is kind of a great way to kind of disguise that, because that black is going to blend in with that buffalo check really, really easily. And the great thing about it is you don't have to worry about getting it on the front of the sign or the back of the sign, because either way you are good to go. I'm using the back of the sign because I don't want to deal with the glitter that is on the front there. So I'm going to go ahead and separate my vinyl. This is a pretty easy process, I would say, for the most part. None of this stuff ever comes off of here really, really easily. And then I'm going to kind of line up that hanger part and make sure that that's on there. And then I'm just going to spread this out with my hands. You can also use your Cricut tool if you have a Cricut, or the similar tool that is sold at Dollar Tree. Sometimes you can find it in the Crafter Square section. You could also use an old gift card or a credit card to just kind of smooth out any of those air bubbles that you might get. And then trim away any of the excess vinyl that you may have had. And I have a little splash of paint on here that I'm just kind of wiping off. Now, for this part with the ornament, I'm going to actually not adhere that. Instead, I'm going to peel that away, and I'm just going to cut it away, and leaving a little bit of an overlap there, because I want the hanger part of the ornament to really cover that. So once I've kind of eyeballed it here and just kind of figured out where it's going to go, now I am going to add some hot glue into that area and make sure that that is stuck right on top and right back into that kind of cardboard part of the sign. The hot glue didn't mess with the vinyl at all, and it held together really, really nicely. So I was super happy about that. And once I did kind of glue that in, I did kind of just hold it in place and make sure that it was good and tight and solid on there. And then I repeated the same process for the smaller one, literally tracing around it, cutting it out, having that little bit of a tag there where the ornament part is, and then deciding to trim that one away as well, and gluing the other piece of the hanger part for the smaller ornament right there back on the top of it, and recreating basically what I did on the larger one. So now that I have both of these set up and ready to go, we're going to add some greenery to them. And for the greenery, I am using these floral pick stems that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I am obsessed. They come in a 6-pack. You can get them in silver. You can get them in gold. And I love these so, so much. For the larger ornament, I am going to take 2 of my floral stems. I'm going to kind of bend them a little bit in the circular motion of or the circular shape, I should say, of the ornament itself. And I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want the center point to hit. And I am going to trim this away with my lineman pliers. That is a pretty heavy-duty wire that's in there. I have to tell you guys, if you can find these at your store, stock, up on these because they are so, so good. Not only are they going to be fantastic for florals, but they're going to be fantastic for stuff like this too. So after I had 2 of them, I went ahead and just trimmed them down and then just added some hot glue and glued them into place like so. And then I added some of my pine cones to just kind of, bring in that pine. And then also I did just tie a very simple bow with some of my twine and created this very cool buffalo check, almost farmhouse inspired kind of an ornament, but I'm not quite done with them yet. I repeated the same process essentially for the smaller one. The only thing that I really did different was I only used 1 pick, and I just kind of split it in half with my lineman pliers there and then just trimmed off the end and then repeated the same exact process, kind of using the 1 pick in place of the 2 picks that I had on the larger one. And then I used 2 smaller pine cones and replicated the exact look of the larger one, including the twine bow at the top. Now, I really, really love these and think that they are absolutely perfect exactly the way that they are. I think that you could even twine these together and it could be like a, father and son or a mommy and daughter ornament. But for the smaller one, I decided to keep it exactly the way it is right now. I love this so much. I think that this is just so adorable. I'm obsessed with this. I want to make a ton of them. And for the larger one, the only thing I did was add one of these wooden J and for my name and spray painted it that bright red. I am so happy with the way that this turned out. I think it's super, super cute. Now, this next DIY is so easy. Find 2 of these plastic, kind of like acrylic-y reindeer. Paint them black. Use a black flat matte spray paint. This is one that is made for plastic. It's from Rust-Oleum. It bonds to multiple surfaces, actually. This is the one that I use probably the most out of all my paints. And literally, all you're doing is spray painting them. Spray painting them, making sure that you're getting all the areas, the underbelly. How amazing do these look? They look so classic, so high-end, very, very current, very modern, very on-trend. You could paint them any color you wanted to, really. But I love the way they look standing on top of that buffalo check placemat near my Christmas tree also. How cute are these? All right, for this next DIY, we are using some of the Dollar Tree clay. We are using some cookie cutters. I have some snowflake shapes and an angel shape. And I'm going to make a Christmas ornament that's kind of reminiscent of the ornaments you would make like as a kid, maybe with like Play-Doh or something like that. First thing we're going to do is take the Dollar Tree clay out of the package and we are going to make a little bit of a mess. It's kind of a messy clay. It's definitely very moist, so work with it on a surface that you can easily clean up. I just spread it out and, rolled it into a ball a couple times, spread it out, and then just cut my shapes out. At first, I thought it was going to need more than just 1 package of clay, but it actually worked out that I was able to cut my angel and 3 snowflakes out with the 1 package of clay, and I still had lots of clay left over. Now, the one thing you will notice is that I put a hole in the top of the angel, and then I remember, because I'm wanting to string these all together, that I need to put a hole in the bottom of the angel. But like a bonehead, I forgot that I also need to do that in at least 2 of these snowflakes. So if you are trying to recreate this for yourself, do that. Now, I did catch myself and I ended up doing it kind of at the last minute before I painted everything, before it dried. So it worked out in my favor, sort of anyway. Unfortunately, one of my snowflakes bit the dust. The way that it dried after painting it, it just didn't work out well at all. By the way, when you do paint your clay, you're going to want your clay to dry for at least 48 hours before you spray paint it with anything or paint it with any kind of paint at all. So now that I've got everything somewhat salvageable, I'm going to take this beaded garland that I picked up from Walmart. And the beaded garland I am going to use to string in between my angel and the snowflakes to create this very, very cute ornament. Now, all I did was kind of take the garland and just cut it and used some of the twine that was with the garland itself. I added a couple beads in between the snowflake and the angel, and I love the way this turned out. I think it's so cute, and it just reminds me of like something I would have made in like grade school or something. Guys, take care. Bye-bye.